Welcome to the City Manager's Report. The City Manager's Report is your preview of the next Oshkosh Common Council meeting agenda and an update from your Oshkosh City Manager. Your hosts, Emily Makowski of Oshkosh Community Media and City Manager Mark Roloff.
Hello, and thank you for joining me on your City Manager's Report. My name is Emily Makowski, and as always, joining me is your City Manager, Mark Roloff. Thank you so much for joining me today, Mark.
Great to be here, Emily. Welcome to the show.
Thank you so much. It's exciting to be here. I'm ready to get started, and we've got some great things on our agenda today. As always, we'll start the show out with things going on around the city, some city updates and community updates. And then we'll move on to the Common Council agenda and give us a little preview for that next week, Tuesday.
Sounds good.
So first on our list, I was able to attend my first mayor's breakfast last Friday as EAA wrapped up a little bit. It was a great turnout, a lot of people there. I was even able to talk to the mayor at the end of it. So let's take a look and see what the mayor had to say about the mayor's breakfast.
This is the 24th year. Next year will be the 25th. Tremendous opportunity for people in the community to sit down and talk with each other and talk with the people from ENA. And you get to see a number of your representatives. It's kind of an informal way. So it's a nice opportunity to get to know people on a personal basis. The other thing is it's just fun. Everybody's got to eat breakfast and a fun time. We have some good entertainment down here too.
Well, it looks like it was a lot of fun. I was out of town, so I have to feel a little guilty about that. But it's so wonderful to have visitors from out of the state, out of the country that come here that just want to get a little taste of Oshkosh, because a lot of times they're stuck on the EAA grounds all day. And so this is their opportunity to really get a good feel for what's going on in Oshkosh. And what's really been great about this event is that over the years it's been bounced around a little bit with different locations not working out over the years, and it's kind of settled in at being at the Leach Amphitheater. And in the last couple of years they've been able to see the Leach come about and the Riverwalk come about. So visitors to Oshkosh have commented to me that they enjoy the opportunity to come and see what new is developed either along the riverfront or just in the community on their way down from the EAA grounds all the way down to downtown Oshkosh.
It really gives people a chance to see what else Oshkosh has to offer besides EAA. A lot of people are under the impression that Oshkosh is kind of a nothing town with EAA, and giving them a chance to come down to the Leach and have breakfast with the mayor, it kind of gives you a really good idea of all the fun things going on and what a great city Oshkosh is, really. It
brings out a lot of volunteers. Like the mayor said, you've got a lot of the state representatives. They a lot of times, the elected representatives will be there to talk about, to their constituents, but they're doing more than that here because it's not about their constituents. It's really about them promoting the area. So anybody who returns to their hometown after visiting the fly-in reports back, hey, it's a great community and it's a very positive event. I know folks from the Convention and Visitors Bureau are real involved in it, and there have been volunteers that have been involved in this for, I think, virtually every year that the mayor's breakfast has been going on. So we love to host people. The mayor loves to put it on, so we're real happy to show off Oshkosh in a positive light.
Yes, and this year was the 24th annual mayor's breakfast, so it's really become a tradition in Oshkosh. Also, what may become a tradition, the Riverwalk just finished and it's now open. There was a huge party last night for it, the Riverwalk grand opening. And Wendy Hillsberg actually had a few words to say at the Riverwalk at the ribbon cutting. Let's take a look and see what she had to say.
I'm so excited that this has finally opened, and I'm excited to be a part of Oshkosh. I'm excited for the potential that this has for this community. We've got a whole new audience now, and we have the leisure boater, so we're going to attract a whole new visitor. So from a tourism component, I am so excited. We're also going to put signage out to let people know that we're open for business, we welcome you.
Now, and not only from a tourism aspect, but just all the work that went into this. It was really a huge team collaborative effort on both the private and public aspects of that. Can you tell me a little bit more about that?
Sure. One of the other people that spoke was Kurt Kepler, who's one of the partners with the City Center development, and I think he said it best. He talked about the collaboration that they brought to the table and that they had with the city. The folks who own the City Center project as well as the hotel, they both donated land to make the Riverwalk possible. Without that donation of land, we wouldn't have been able to do this. So that really is where a lot of the public-private partnership comes in. we've also been very fortunate to have a lot of collaborative partners with the state DNR giving us grants. We got $1.8 million in grants for the south side of the river, and I've talked about $2.5 million in grants. Well, we're really up to 3.2 with everything we've done on both sides of the river now. So we're real excited that the north side is now open. It was just hopping last night. I'm looking at the videos. It's like you guys must have done this before the event, because it was rocking and rolling there last night.
They had the band going. Everybody had a drink in their hand. It was a good time.
It was so wonderful, and I think it just shows the potential that a Riverwalk can bring. And it's not just for tourists. Last night was not about tourists. You know, EAA was about tourists.
Right.
This was not about tourists. This was about local folks being able to go and enjoy their community. The riverfront was so industrial for so many years, and now it's for the people of the community and for visitors. Wendy, speaking on behalf of the Convention and Visitors Bureau, talked about what it means for visitors, but it's a great amenity for the community in general, and even for folks like the folks who own City Center, the office complex. When they want to rent out a facility, they can say, look what your employees have available to you. There's restaurants, there's a place to walk, just from City Center itself, you can look across, you can see the dockside, and then on either side you've got the Ground Round and Beckett's, plus whatever else is going to go down the road. So it's very exciting, and we're real happy with that. And now that we turn to the south side of the river.
Yeah, that's just the north side.
Yeah, just the north side. So this one's going to take a little longer. We've been real happy. We got most of what we did done in 5 years, and we're very happy to do that. But the south side's a little more challenging because it's really not the cost of the Riverwalk, it's the cost of the seawall that's underneath that holds it up.
And I think that's what a lot of people don't understand, is timing-wise.
Yeah,
what goes into it.
Because the Riverwalk itself they're resin planks, and it's like how hard can this be? But it's the underside of everything. So the south side of the river, we'll probably do it in smaller chunks, but we'll still make progress. The DNR representatives who were there last night were very positive about how things were going, and so they were very complimentary of what we're doing. And I think the community was generally very excited about what was going on last night. And tonight, which is a Thursday, is Waterfest, so you'll have people down there again. So you're getting a good flow of people coming in there on a pretty regular basis, and it's very positive for the community.
Yes, definitely. Very positive reception to it, and I think a lot of people are really looking forward to taking advantage of it, both the north side and the south side, within the next 5 years or so.
Let's hope so.
So let's talk about the citizen survey. This is the 5th year that it came out, so we're really starting to see some trends. What can you tell me about some progress that's been made in some areas?
Well, when we started this 5 years ago, this is a survey that's done with a policy analysis class at the graduate school at UW Oshkosh. And this is the 5th year, so I was really interested to see what trends were developing after 5 years. Are we improving in certain areas? And you really have to do a rewind back to 2008, 2009 when this came out. Those were when we had the big floods. There was, the economy wasn't doing too well, so folks were pretty down on a lot of things, including some outlook on the community. But there was one in particular that jumped out at me that I know Scott put a little graphic up there, but we asked people back in 2009, what do you think of Oshkosh as a place to retire? And half the people had a negative view of that. Now that's still a challenging thing. Winters aren't the kindest thing to senior citizens, but you can see that it was 50% negative, 40% positive in 2009. And after a short 5 years, we've got nearly that flipped, with nearly 50% of the people saying positive, and the negatives are down just around 42%. So we're real happy that those types of things are out there, and those are what the residents are telling us. But we're also seeing that other areas that were definitely in need of improvement with respect to stormwater and streets.
Yes.
We're seeing there's still negatives, and I think they're still warranted that they're negatives, but they're picking up a little bit, and that's what we wanted to see. We wanted to see, are we making progress that you're noticing, and that you're at least satisfied that we're making some progress. And I think there's that acknowledgement that we're doing those. Now, if we had a storm like they had up in the Appleton and Green Bay area a couple days ago, that viewpoint might change, but we're working as hard as we can to improve what we can when we can do it. And those are some of the things that you're seeing in terms of where the community has an outlook on how things are going.
Right, which is the original intent of the survey, was to see those trends, and now that it's kind of been a few years, we're actually able to see those improvements and things like that. And also, I noticed people are starting to be willing to move more funds towards different things. We noticed from the survey moving things to, like, say, the library. Can you tell me about that?
Yeah, one of the things that Professor Nolenberger wants to do is get an idea. He gives everybody a mythical $1 million, and if you had $1 million more, where would you put it? Or if you had to cut $1 million, where would you cut it from? And back in 2009, it was pretty clear. Infrastructure, streets, stormwater, we got to put every nickel we've got into those things. But now that I think we've made some progress in those areas, and I'll still tell you, we got a long way to go, but what you're seeing is people are saying, hey, we are making progress on streets. We are making a little bit of progress on storm sewer. Maybe we can start steering of this hypothetical $1 million. Maybe we could steer a little bit more towards the cultural services, the museum, the library, the parks. And you saw that with the results of the survey. Now, does that mean that they're choosing parks over streets or something like that? I don't think it necessarily says that. I think people pretty much want some basics, but they also recognize the value of our quality of life services. And that's what people really come to love a community. They expect good streets, they expect good utilities, but what they come to love a community for are all those wonderful little quality of life features, and we have them here in Oshkosh. And so now the public's saying, okay, you're making progress, now don't forget about the things that we love about Oshkosh
the
as well.
enriching parts of it all.
Yeah, enriching is probably a really good term, and I think that that's consistent with what the council was talking about when they were doing the strategic plan.
Right, yeah, it sounds like you really are reinforcing the strategic plan in those results. You can really see that.
And part of it was, number one, listening. That was engaging the public. So the survey is really about engaging the public, but it's also saying, what more do you want to see? And we're getting that feedback, and the council then is acting on it, and that's part of it. We have to listen and then respond accordingly, and I think you're seeing more of that now.
Right, and you mentioned council. How much do these results really play a factor in council in decision making, for example, in budget and things like that?
When this survey started out, it was very budget oriented, and it said infrastructure. Council takes a look at that, and I think they recognize that we have to keep our emphasis on infrastructure, but now I think they're starting to realize that these other things are also important, and we can't lose sight of them.
All right, great. Well, it sounds like the survey was very useful, and we're going to make great use of it both now and in the next 5 years. So moving on, in April we had some bus routes that were changed in Go Transit.
Oh, we sure did, didn't we?
Yes, and we've been getting some feedback about that. Can you tell me how it's been going so far?
Well, it's a mixed bag, and for me to say, oh gosh, everybody loves it, it would not be correct. We've had some criticisms, and I think some criticisms are founded, but the whole idea behind this was we had done a survey, and we had 1,500 responses to the survey. We just talked about the citizen survey. That's 3 times more responses than we got for the citizen survey on the whole city. So we got some great input about what people wanted to see in the transit system. But one of the things that stood out was they wanted to serve more areas of the city. We want to get to more places. We want you to get closer to me. So we did revamp some of the routes, and we took out some things that were admittedly some conveniences in the system, but we removed those conveniences to make it more accessible for other people to be able to be closer to the routes without doing additional costs. We did all these route changes. It didn't cost us a dime extra in staffing to do that. We did it within our resources, but we tweaked some of the routes. The biggest thing, and I think probably the most controversial thing, is that in many areas we took away the service into parking lots. And the reason for that is because parking lots, we have to go 5 miles an hour. And in some cases, some of these parking lots really weren't designed. We were kind of going the wrong way, and we were risking liability. But the practical side of it was, you go 5 miles an hour in a parking lot, you go 25 miles an hour on a street. And as a result of that, by making these route changes, we're able to, we saw a 6% increase in the amount of area that people are within a quarter mile of the route. So,
which might not seem like a lot, but like you said, not changing resources and getting moving forward in a step like that, making those small changes, it says a lot about the tools that we're using with those surveys.
Right, but I don't want to dismiss the criticisms. I think they're valid points that people make out. They're saying people have to walk farther to get into Mercy Medical Center and Aurora Medical Center and the Pick and Save on the north side. And you know what? Every statement of that is factually correct. But the reality is that we have people who may not be using the bus because it's too far for them to walk from their house to the bus. And we have to think about those people as well. We just can't think about the destinations. We have to think about the origin of our routes. And so we're hoping that we're going to take a look at the routes. We might make some tweaks to them. We certainly want to be responsive to what's going on, but we also need to increase the ridership as people in the community realize that it's expensive to drive a car and they want to look for alternatives. If we don't make the routes more available to more citizens, it's going to make it very difficult to justify a route system that just serves a very small portion of the city. We're serving a 6% larger area than we did before for people that can go a quarter of a mile. So we're satisfied that we're making progress, but we're not immune to the criticism.
Definitely.
And I think we need to listen to
And the feedback is always a huge part of any kind of continuous improvement that you're going to do. So it's definitely not something to be ignored.
No, and we're going to keep looking.
So moving on to one of our favorite parts of the show, Question Mark, where the viewer gets to ask a question and our city manager, Mark, will answer as best as he can most times. So let's take a look and see what the question is. All right, Mark, so the question today is, when will the Canadian National Railroad Bridge over the Fox River be completed?
Well, it's a great question. I don't know if I can answer the question entirely, but I think the biggest part of the progress is the bridge itself. And what we've been informed by the railroad is that between August 18th and 23rd, the contractor out there is going to be basically removing the old draw span of the bridge and replacing it with a new draw span. That's good news that the work's getting done. The bad news is for boaters and for our anglers, because you will not be able to go through the bridge during that time. So it could be as many as 5 full days. I know the railroad has a great interest in getting this done as soon as possible, because that's freight that's not getting moved. But if you want to go from Lake Winnebago to the Fox River, you're not going to be able to do it during that time. So pick which side you want to be on for those 5 days and plan to stay there. I know that's a great inconvenience. You know, August is a wonderful time to go boating. We just talked about the Riverwalk. We love boats to come up there, but pick your place and get there. But if you're on Lake Winnebago, you're not going to be able to come up the river during this time frame. And unfortunately, this is beyond our control. This is something that the railroad's doing, but it's part of replacing a bridge that was built in 1899. So
I'd say it's getting to be about that time, probably.
It's about time that we replace it, yeah.
It's a very visual project as well. I understand they're going to be floating all the old pieces out and floating the new ones in on the river itself on the barges.
Right, they're so big you can't even truck those things in. It's so inaccessible. Getting it through the water is really the most effective way.
So it's August 18th to the 23rd that the bridge is going to be closed, and the navigation access is going to be restricted for those few days.
That'll be it, so we need to get the word out.
Yes. So now I think we're going to take a little break, and when we come back, we're going to talk about the City Council agenda and give you a little preview of what's to come next week.
Hi, I'm Mayor Burktower, and I'm asking for your help. The city has several boards and commissions that play important roles in just about every aspect of local government. Whether it's the Parks Board or the Landmarks Commission, these and other boards act as a forum for citizens to address their concerns and questions about Oshkosh City government. The boards also provide members the opportunity to make positive suggestions to the council or city staff to move the city forward. So here's where we need your help. For our city to work effectively, we need active citizen participation. Many of our boards and commissions currently need members. We're asking for just a few hours of your time each month to serve on one of our boards or commissions and help to ensure a strong democratic process. So please consider serving on a city board or commission. For an application, visit the city website, stop by the city manager's office in City Hall, or call 236-5000. Thank you for your interest, and we look forward to your possible involvement.
Thanks again for joining me on the City Manager's Report. Again, I'm Emily Mikowski. I'm here with Mark Roloff. And now we're going to go over the City Council Common Agenda meeting. And that's going to be taking place at 6 p.m. on August 13th, this coming Tuesday. Mark, the first thing that I want to go over is item number 10, Resolution 13-369, award bid for Carriage House floor reinforcement for Oshkosh Public Museum to Cardinal Construction Company. So first, do you want to just tell me how old the actual Carriage House is?
Well, the Carriage House is called the 1908 Carriage House, so this is 105 years old, and it's served us well over the years. It's really used for storage right now. The museum gets so many donations that they have to put everything somewhere, and some people get a little miffed when the museum doesn't accept things from them. They want to make a donation to the museum, but there's only so much the museum has to store things. So the Carriage House here, this is for the second floor reinforcement, and they want to put extra storage facilities up there, but they needed to first make sure that the floor was going to be strong enough to hold more stuff. And so we did a little analysis, and we determined we needed to reinforce the floor. So this will, the purpose of this is just to reinforce the floor so we can store more things up there.
Okay. And moving on to item number 13, Resolution 13-372, award bid for Public Works contract number 13-11 to Wood Sewer and Excavating for Sanitary Manhole Rehabilitation Program. And now this is an ongoing program, is that correct?
Yeah, this is the one that people will hear a lot about, called inflow and infiltration, or I&I for short. It's designed to prevent stormwater from getting into our sanitary sewer systems. We've talked about this a lot, but it's a huge problem. When we've had our bad storms, some of the biggest problems that have affected individual properties is that their sewers back up. Well, their sewers back up because stormwater has gotten into our sanitary sewer system. So this manhole rehabilitation program is just another year of us fixing our manholes, getting the cracks out of some of the concrete that are there. We seal it up so that the water doesn't go into the manholes and then into the sewer system. This is, as you can see, it's nearly $750,000, and that's just for 1 year. And this will be an ongoing program because we have got a very old sewer system, and this is just one way for us to address stormwater, and this is by fixing some of our sanitary sewer system. So it's a very necessary program, and you're going to see more of it as the time goes on.
Yes, it's definitely very necessary. Not something a lot of people would really think about, but it's an ongoing process, and it's actually very important. So moving on to item number 14, Resolution 13-373, approval of amendment to engineering services agreement for the design of stormwater detention basins in the Campbell Creek Watershed. Can you tell me about that?
Well, it's similar story, but a different part of it.
Yeah, still dealing with stormwater.
Stormwater, but this is dealing with stormwater in the stormwater system itself. These are some more stormwater detention basins that we're looking at. This is in the Campbell Creek area. This is generally in the vicinity of 9th Avenue and Highway 41. We purchased a couple properties out there, and we need to do the design for this. This is $95,000. That's just for the design. These projects are very expensive. This is for 2 ponds. We're probably looking at easily $500,000 a piece for each of these ponds. The ponds will take a couple years to get done, but we need to get them designed, make sure that a couple of the issues out there's some wetlands, and we have to make sure that we don't disturb the wetlands when we do these ponds. So the idea is to get the design folks out there to get that pond as big as possible to give the maximum benefit, in this case, to the folks that are in the Campbell Creek area.
Another very important project. So then moving on to item number 15, approve agreement for City of Oshkosh to participate with State of Wisconsin's Smart Fleet program. Now the Smart Fleet program, it's an effort by the state to increase alternative fuel usage, is that correct?
Yeah, that's what they've been doing. We were just really getting in on the ground floor at this point. We started a couple years ago with compressed natural gas, or CNG, and then we became aware of this program. So they're just looking for input from communities on what they're doing with respect to alternative fuel vehicles. They're really looking for us to provide them with information so they can, I think, conglomerate it and design programs that might be beneficial to encourage more use of alternative fuels. We've already made a commitment, but I think what this will help us do by participating in this is that they'll try to maybe cater some programs specifically to the needs of the participants. And if we tell them that we're committed to CNG, maybe they'll say, okay, maybe we need to do more in CNG because communities like Oshkosh are doing this, and maybe there's something to it. So we're committed to CNG. In fact, I'm going to be attending another grand opening celebration next week. Quick Trip is opening their second compressed natural gas station in Oshkosh. It's probably maybe there's less than 10 in the whole state right now, and we're 2 of them. Really? So we're real happy. But part of the reason they did that was because we decided to commit to compressed natural gas vehicles, so they know that there will be a base of demand there. And we got our refuse trucks and a few of our other fleet vehicles. So we're making a commitment to it, and I think participating in this will help us down the road.
Definitely. So that item on the agenda is really to get the ball rolling on that and get moving with that item.
Exactly.
So next, just real quickly, we have a couple of block party requests. Just as a refresher, how can we apply for block parties? It's getting to be that time of the year, summertime. What steps do you need to take to do that?
Block parties are easy. That's the first thing, and they are wonderful events. I was participating in National Night Out the other day, and it was essentially a block party over on Nevada Avenue between Jackson and Wisconsin. Great neighborhood event, but you go to I want to, and right down there it says there for block party closure, and there's all the information, the form's right there. You can fill it out. It's no cost. We want to encourage block parties because they really do help bring neighborhoods together. So look at it on our website, fill out the form. It's easy. Drop it off at the clerk's office, and we'll be happy to take care of you and encourage you to have more events like that.
Nice and simple. Right at ci.oshkosh.wi.us is where you can find those links. And then last item on the agenda, for the announcements and statements, we have the groundbreaking for the new field operations facility coming up. Can you tell me a little bit about that real quickly?
Sure. Now, we're using a new term here, field operations facility, but it's the old Central Garage on Witzel Avenue. We're going to have the groundbreaking ceremony. We awarded the contract a couple weeks ago, and now we're just going to officially kick off the project. But it's also an opportunity for, if anybody wants to come to the groundbreaking, they're welcome to do it. It's going to be at 2:15 p.m. on Tuesday, August 13th. Come down to the Central Garage, which will soon be the field operations facility. Take a look at why we're doing this. We need to fix this old facility. It's obsolete, it's very inefficient, and it's just a way to start celebrating out with the old and in with the new.
Exactly. Huge project. Going to be a great thing to do.
$19 million, it's a lot of money, but
Yes.
it's going to be well worth it.
Yes, definitely. So that's going to wrap it up for today on your City Manager's Report. Thank you so much for joining me for my first program. And also, I'd just like to take a second to say thank you to our intern, Erin. Today is her last day, and she's been here with us for the whole summer. She's been a huge help, and she's got about another semester left of school, so we wish only the best for her. She's on to great and better things. I hope so. But anyway, next Tuesday, you can catch the City Manager's this Common Council meeting on Tuesday the 13th at 6 p.m. You can watch it live on City Cable 10 or tune into 101.9 WOCT. You can also watch it online at oshkoshcommunitymedia.org. Thanks again for joining me today, and we'll see you next time.